Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the new Sum 41 record, Order in Decline. This is the 7th studio album from the Canadian punk rock outfit. They are from Ajax, Ontario. Over the years, they've had a noteworthy sonic progression. They have gone from pop punk with their debut record, All Killer No Filler, then all the way up to 2016 with their most recent record before Order in Decline. We have 13 Voices, which I would say was a more standard rock-leaning album. Now with the newest project, there is a lot of metalcore and hard rock inspiration. Despite the sonic progression, the genre influences, and the sound changes, through this maturation process in Sum 41's approach to songwriting, one thing does remain the same, and it's their ear for catchy melodies. They've never failed to put catchy pop-level hooks on their albums, and it's just one of their strengths. After all, I never really saw them as a flash in the pan for songs like Fat Lip or In Too Deep. These guys have versatility to their songwriting. They've written dynamic and angsty tunes with Walking Disaster and Still Waiting. They've also had very tearful and heartstring-pulling ballads with So Long Goodbye and With Me. Frontman Derek Whibley has bounced back from alcoholism. Everyone was ruling him out at one point, and now Sum 41 have stormed back with what I would say is one of their most coherent and focused albums. There's a possible story arc to this album. I wouldn't necessarily call it a concept record, but there are multiple interpretations you can take. You can either see it as Derek as being the protagonist, and he is calling out this girl for her lies and deceit for ending relations. Then there's the story arc where you can look at this album as something being written about society at large, something in a bit more of a political sense, as we have references to humankind on track 6, and we have the use of the plural us on track 10. And with that political sense, you might be thinking, hey, Sum 41 are just taking a page out of the Green Day playbook, and there are a lot of similarities to Green Day on this record. It's really up to the listener to decide how much Green Day they really can take from Sum 41, I guess. However, diving into the tracks though, the first song, Turning Away, I love the chopped guitar chords in the intro. There's something very captivating about the build up to the song. I also love the peppy and muscular drumming. There is a great guitar solo which is paired with this halftime drumming pattern. On the second track, Out for Blood, this is the perfect lead single. The dynamics of this song are the mainstay. The second verse strips back the instrumentation to this phone call filtered vocal effect, which comes up time and time again on this record. I don't mind them. I think it has a significant effect when it comes to the storytelling. The guitar solo section on Out for Blood switches up the song's pace yet again with this metalcore variant sound. Moving on to the fourth track, A Death in the Family. This one lyrically isn't offering anything new when it comes to corruption or lies, but it's still a badass song when it comes to the blaring and deafening chorus. Again, it's the dynamic shape of the track which pushes the envelope with the emphatic messages. Tracks 6 and 7 are perfectly placed one after another. Track 6, which is entitled 45, A Matter of Time, is a politically charged song. We know that 45 is a reference to Donald Trump's 45th presidency. We have Derek kind of just giving everyone in the country a number. He's replacing this emotion with logic, and it seems like he's refusing to show his vulnerability when it comes to his country. But quickly following that up with track 7, I think it's perfectly placed here that we see the fickle nature in human beings. Track 7, Never There, is really just this antithesis to the previous track because Derek ends up eating his own words when it comes to logic, and he feels this sense of loss for his father who has never really been there for him. So yeah, we just see Derek like hate the rest of the United States, but then when it comes to his father who's never really been there for him, he's still longing to get to know him. Track 9 on this project, The People Versus. This one, I have a comparison to make. I think it's very hard and fast, like some of the upbeat songs from Revolution Radio, from Green Day. Bringing it back to Sum 41 on this song, however, there is accelerated tremolo picking on the guitar. Seems very thrash metal inspired, but the production is a bit cleaner. The guitar riffs, though, in addition to the active and vital drums, they shoot up like a hit of heroin, and I can only assume what that's like. In other words, don't do heroin. The surprises on the album continue with the closer, Catching Fire, and it almost sounds like a Death Cab for Cutie song from their latest record. Has a very chilling and ambient synth tone to it that opens up the first minute of its composition. The chorus then morphs into a eulogy for this lost lover or someone from the human race that sparks happiness and love and kindness. Instrumentally, the acoustic guitar and pulse of the bass are layered over top of this millennial whoa. Those things unmistakably make this song the finale to the album, just this grandiose sound. It's a bit of a letdown just because I'm not a fan of millennial whoas and whoops, but I get behind the songwriting. I feel like it's very genuine and heartfelt. Now with this record, I wouldn't say it's perfect. There are some flaws to it that I think comes down to the influences being worn on the sleeves. And just to explain that a bit more, I think the guitar solos a lot of the times feel like Metallica tributes. Also, tracks like The New Sensation and Heads Will Roll, these tracks sound like Green Day or Billy Talent carbon copies in their sound and lyrical focus. Not that that's a bad thing for your record, I do love those bands, and hello, I'm wearing a Green Day shirt. I just feel like it's a little unnecessary for Sum 41. They are a band that should have their own distinct sound, and I see them kind of trapping themselves in a corner where they had to put these songs on the record or else it would have been shorter than what it already is. With the brevity, I would actually think it's one of the strengths going for this record. I think the listening experience would have been made a little more tedious if it were 12 or 13 tracks long, so I'm pleased with the final package. To discuss the lyrical topics on this album a bit more, I feel like there's only so many ways that you can bring up the establishment lying to its citizens. I feel like Derek and the gang are limiting their lyrical kind of focus to this album. They use a lot of catch-all phrases or buzzwords that get sprinkled onto a few too many tracks. And in turn, because of that, they aren't really going in too deep with the subject matter. And come on, isn't this Sum 41? Shouldn't they already be in too deep? Either way, I'm still impressed with what I'm hearing on this record. Sum 41 are doing something new than what they've really ever done before, fusing sounds of punk and metal, and the dynamics are kick-ass. So yeah, I would encourage you to listen to this record. It might not be reinventing the wheel when it comes to political punk rock, but I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on this one. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking of this new Sum 41 record, Order in Decline. Is it making you nostalgic for their pop punk days, or are you excited for the future and what is to come? Leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town, and as always, have a rockin' day.